Hello and a very good evening everyone. I'm Sheetal, back again with yet very important live for you guys. So in the last video, or let's say in the last live, I did sentence placement questions with you. I explained you what sentence placement questions are, what is the concept behind it, what are the kind of tricks that you can follow to solve these questions that were seen for the first time in CAT exam last year. So today I have, as I already promised you, I have come up with some actual CAT questions, actual questions based on sentence placement that were seen last year in last year's CAT exam. So I hope this video is going to be helpful for you. So watch the video carefully and try to apply all those tricks and skills that I asked you to follow in the last live. The link for the last video will also be given in the description box. You can click on that and refer to that. And for the students who are attending this class for the first time, let me quickly repeat what sentence placement question is. So as we are going to talk about actual sentence placement questions in this live, before this, let's quickly discuss these questions. So broadly, in the verbal section of the CAT exam, you have 24 questions, out of which 2 questions were given from sentence placement question types instead of the misfit question. So there is a thing called Parajumbles or sentence rearrangement. Earlier you used to have 5 theta question, 3 from Parajumbles and 2 from misfits. But last year there was no misfit question. Rather they gave you a question which goes like, a sentence will be given to you in the question followed by a passage with 4 blanks at different places. You have to decide after reading the passage and understanding the context as in where can you fit that sentence so that it forms a cohesive or coherent paragraph. So what do we understand from this? It is quite similar to finding the misfit or finding the odd one out. See, because in odd one out you just had to remove one sentence which you think doesn't gel well with the rest of the sentences, or let's say when it is formed into a cohesive piece, a coherent paragraph, that sentence doesn't fit anywhere. Here you have to find out a place where you can fit the given sentence. So it is quite similar. So the kind of skills you need to have are, as soon as you approach the passage, first of all think about the subject area of this. Is it from sociology, psychology? Is it from fiction? Is it a narrative piece of work? Is it simple description of something? So it's important that you understand these things so that you understand the language author is using in that passage. It's very important to guess the correct position of the sentence given to you in the question. After guessing the subject area, you have to understand what is the main idea or the essence of the passage as a whole, because this will again help you to collect all those pieces, all those sentences in the passage and understand how they are interwoven together. To understand how they are interwoven together, you also need to understand the flow of thought, how swiftly one idea is moving into another idea. So that transition should be convincing and logical. See, you are given a passage based on a wonderful writing by some author. It won't be an ambiguous one. Obviously, there is a sense in it, there is a flow of thought in it. You need to understand that flow of thought. That is the most important thing which will help you decide that the given sentence in the question, what is that sentence saying and what are the rest of the lines given in the paragraph saying. Then you will be able to decide where should I put this sentence so that that swift transition is not hindered, right? So these are certain tips you should be following while dealing with these questions, and just always believe in yourself, because if you have exposed yourself to reading and if you know how to deal with RC questions, you will be able to do all the verbal questions of the CAT exam, especially the CAT exam, right? With this, let me show you an actual question of CAT sentence placement, and then you will be surely convinced that yes, they are not that difficult. So the direction is, there is a sentence that is missing in the paragraph below. Look at the paragraph and decide in which blank the following sentence would best fit. So this is the sentence here. Sentence says, easing the anxiety and pressure of having a big day is part of appeal for many couples who marry in secret. So this big day is that their marriage day, the day on which they will get, they'll be wed, right? So read the sentence again, understand the meaning of this sentence, then we will move on to the passage and understand the meaning of the whole passage, and then we'll see where can we fit it. Easing the anxiety and pressure of having a big day is the part of appeal for many couples who marry in secret. So the couples who marry in secret, why do they marry in secret? Because they just want to ease the anxiety. Everyone is, almost all the couples, they are anxious about their big day. So just to avoid that anxiety or ease up the anxiety, they go for secret marriages. Right? Now let's read the paragraph quickly. I will give you some time to quickly go through it and then we will read it together. Once you are done reading it, just send a thumbs up in the chat box so that I know you have already read it. Read the passage and drop in your answers in the chat box. Which blank do you think would be the best for that sentence? Waiting for your responses in the chat box, students. Right, so let's read it together. Meanwhile, you can drop in your answers. So the paragraph starts, wedding season is upon us, and after 2 years of COVID chaos that saw nuptials scaled back, you may think the temptation would be to go all out. So this is the perfect opening of the passage, which is saying that after this COVID time, in COVID people were not able to, have ostentatious weddings. So one would believe that after this COVID period is over, the couples and the parents and the families, they would be dying to have a lavish wedding, right? This is the usual expectation. Blank. So this is the first blank. But instead of expanding the guest list, many couples are opting to have entirely secret ceremonies. So this sentence and the previous one, they are contrasting pairs. So if you remember, I have already told you, I've already taught you in sentence rearrangement question, what are the contrasting pair? So one idea is given which lays the base and raises the question, and our anxiety of what is the author going to say about this thing, that we must all be excited, or the couples must be excited after the COVID that they'll have a big wedding. But instead something else is happening, and that is given in the succeeding line. So with COVID cases, numbers remaining high and the cost of living crisis, meaning that many couples are feeling the pinch. It's no wonder that some are less than eager to send out invites. So everyone had, faced this economic setback during the COVID period. So they've all tasted that pinch, and now it has become rare that one would get an invite for a wedding. Dash again, second blank. Plus, it can't hurt that in celebrity circles, getting married in secret is all the rage. Another reason. So a plus is given here. These are the type of words you should be focusing on. Why is this plus given here? It's an addition to something that should come before it, right? So plus it can't hurt. It's another reason for these small weddings or secret weddings now is that it's in rage, it's in vogue that all the celebrities have secret wedding. They don't reveal their wedding day or venue, and people, they all start making guesses. So let's see. Okay, Ayush is saying it's fourth blank. Stuti is also here. Let's see, Stuti, if you can guess the right blank for this one. So there is a third blank after this line. I would definitely say that secret weddings are becoming more common, says this person. So now there is a different new kind of idea introduced here. The founder of the therapy practice, which specializes in helping brides and grooms manage wedding stress. Yes, there is a thing like wedding stress also. So people are looking for ways to get out of the spotlight and avoid the pomp and circumstances of weddings. And there you have your fourth blank. So they just want to get to the part where they are married. So, what do you think? What should be the right blank here? This is CAT exam. The answer is not going to be that obvious. Give it some time, think about it. If you're watching the video later on, you may pause it and guess the right blank. I've already dropped in a hint for you guys. So, okay, before this, let's quickly see the previous line again. It says, easing the anxiety and pressure of having a big day is part of the appeal for many couples who marry in secret. Don't you think it's a kind of justification for having secret weddings or not having big weddings? So this is one reason. The one reason is because they want to ease up their anxiety. They don't want their main day, the D-Day to be so anxious. They don't want that. Another reason is, plus it can't hurt that in celebrity circles getting married in secret is in all the rage. So it's fashionable also, having secret marriages. And another word which is plus is a key word here which tells us something should come before this. So the right answer should be blank 2. The answer will fit perfectly here. The author, first he tells that people don't want big weddings now. Then he goes on to give reasons for it. The one reason is to avoid the anxiety or please the anxiety. Another reason is because nowadays it's fashionable, because celebrities also do this. Right? Good try everyone, keep it up. Let's see if you'll be able to guess the next question. So there you go. Another question. This is from CAT 2022, slot 3. So when people socially learn from each other, they often learn without understanding why what they are copying. The beliefs and the behaviors and the technologies and know how works. Read it again and understand it. Then we will read the passage. So one thing is clear from the sentence itself, that it is about learning socially. People tend to learn things socially by their peers, by their neighbors or relatives or anyone else in society. So they don't have to go for understanding the reason of why they are learning it, how they are learning it. We human beings, even Aristotle has said this, that we human beings, we love to imitate. We learn through imitating. This is what it is. So let's read the paragraph now. A blank initially. The first blank. The dual inheritance theory says that inheritance is itself an evolutionary system. It has variation. What makes us a new kind of animal and so different and successful as a species is we rely heavily on social learning. So humans are believed to be most social beings, unlike the animals, to the point where socially acquired information is effectively a second line of inheritance, the first being our genes. So inheritance or imitation is there in our genes itself. So we copy certain traits from our parents and their parents, from the descent we are from, right? So first imitation is genes, and the second one is we acquire certain information or we learn things socially. So it's a perfect introduction. Do you think there is something lacking? There should be something before the introduction. Isn't it already a general kind of introduction, already introducing us to the topic that is to be discussed here? Moreover, two aspects are discussed here, that we human beings, we imitate or inherit through genes also, and we acquire certain things that we imitate socially. So two aspects are given here, but in this one only one aspect is discussed, which is imitation or acquiring certain traits or habits or characteristics socially, learning things socially. So I've already told you, in this type of question, whenever there are sentence rearrangement question, Parajumbles question, or it can be on the basis of sentence misfit also, finding the misfit, you always go from broader aspect to the narrower one. You will definitely choose one such line which mention different factors. Then you will go on to a sentence which mentions or focuses only on one or two. So from broader to narrower, this should be the order. So one thing is clear, this sentence will not come in the first sentence. Moreover, it doesn't sound like a concluding sentence also. So this question can be solved by elimination method. It doesn't sound like a conclusion, and it is not fitting in the introduction also. This is the remaining passage. So people tend to home in on who seems to be the smartest or most successful person around, as well as what everybody seems to be doing. The majority of people have something worth learning. Now that aspect of acquiring socially is further explored by saying that people look up to other people who are very wise. People go for one such personality. And the third blank is here. When you repeat this process over time, you can get around the world cultural packages, beliefs or behaviors or technology or other solutions that are adapted to the local conditions. So people have different psychologies effectively. So I've already told you the sentence, this idea is altogether different, the last one. So if you put that sentence here in the conclusion, the order won't be the proper one, won't be the appropriate one. So you have two blanks now, this one and the one before it. Come on now. I've told you so many times how to guess the right answer. Yes, Ayush. Okay, Ayush has already given the answer. Stuti has, let's see Stuti's answer also. So again, Ayush, nice try I would say, but see beta, it will fit in the second line, because immediately after mentioning two factors that affects us or that are a deciding factor, why do we imitate so much? Because one, we are social beings. Before that, we inherit genes. So that imitation comes from the genes also, that imitation comes from us being social, and we love to learn things socially. Immediately after discussing the two factors, the writer would move on, or the author would move on to just pick one, which is acquiring characteristics, things or learning things from your society, from your social environment. After mentioning that, he will go on to explain it furthermore. So again, it should come in the second blank. And then he goes on to explain that what are the kind of people we want to imitate the most. So before saying that smartest people are the ones all of us want to imitate, before saying that, he would make a general kind of statement that, see, it's in our nature that we like to imitate. Right? So it should be the second one. That was a nice try, Ayush. Let's see. Try your luck in this one. The sentence says, this has meant a lot of uncertainty around what a wise scale return to office might look like in practice. So again, a passage which is going to talk about COVID time and work from home thing. So read this one now again. This has meant a lot of uncertainty around what a wide-scale return to office might look like in practice. So why are they saying uncertainties? There is a kind of negative or pessimistic tone here, a negative kind of tone in this sentence. That why is it uncertain to return to the offices? Let's see. Bringing workers back to their desks has been a rocky road for employers and employees alike. The evolution of the pandemic has meant that best laid plans have often not materialized. Right? Read it again on your own and then I'll move on to the next slide. So with the first sentence itself, the author has set the tone. See that bringing the workers back to the offices after the online mode, it was a rocky road. It was not easy implementing this. Let's see this one now. You've already seen the first blank. The flow of workers back into office has been more of a trickle than a steady stream. Now, to understand the meaning of this phrase or this word to be particular is very important to, guess the right answer here. Trickle is a thin stream of water, you would say. So when there is not, the stream is not very, the current is not very fast, we call it a trickle. So you can say drop by drop. Another blank is here. So it's saying that workers coming back into offices was not like a steady stream, not a very strong current, rather it was like trickle, drop by drop. Yet, while plenty of companies are still working through, another key word, yet, it's a very strong word. Wherever you see words like although, yet, also, plus, it means they are also, and plus will be an addition to the previous line. Yet and although would be a contrast to the previous line. So whatever is being said in this particular sentence, some contrasting or opposing idea should come before it. So yet while plenty of companies are still working through their new policies, some employees across the globe are now back at their desks, whether on a full-time or hybrid basis. So finally, yes, now it has normalized the workers, they are back to the offices. That means we are beginning to get some clarity on what return to office means, that's working, as well as what has yet to be settled. So where do you think we can fit in that sentence? If you may want, you may see the sentence again. This has meant a lot of uncertainty around what? See, this is again a key word. Why have they used word this? It is signifying something. It's a pronoun. It should be it should be used for some noun. So what idea is this? This has meant a lot of uncertainties around what a wide-scale return to office might look like in practice. So it's not going to come in the beginning, this particular blank. Rather, so after saying this particular thing that, coming back to the office had not been an easy thing for the bosses, it has been a rocky road convincing the workers to come back to the office. So look at the transition of the ideas here. Then he goes on to state this particular phrase that it has been more like a trickle, not a strong current or a steady stream. So it should come again in the second blank. In the second blank, you will be using this particular sentence, right? And then you will say, yet while plenty of companies are still working through their new policies, some employees are across the globe are now back at their desk. So isn't this a thought contrast? In the starting of the passage, the author was saying that it's not easy to convince the workers to come back in the offline mode, and all of a sudden after the yet, the tone is changed. Now he is saying that things have now started normalizing. People are now more or less throughout the globe, they are coming back to the offices. So there should be some sentence which should, mark the swift transition from that idea to this idea. So the given sentence in the question provides that bridge for these two ideas to come together, right? This is how you guess these answers. It should come in the second blank. I hope you did understand somewhat how to do it. I know it's a little tricky initially because we haven't been doing these kind of questions, but no worries. I'll be coming up with more actual sentence placement question. I think only 2 more are left. Probably I'll take them in upcoming live or probably after a few days. Stay connected. If you want to learn new things, stay connected. If you want to be updated with everything related to the CAT exam and the non-CAT exams of your MBA. Until then, keep smiling, keep studying, and always believe in yourself. Thank you.